Ja, hallo und herzlich willkommen zum zweiten Teil vom Bull Market Support Band Kommentieren und Deutsch übersetzen von Benjamin Cowen. Let's go.
So the entire asset class is starting to show some weakness, although at this point, we haven't had a weekly close below it. All right. Now here's where it gets really interesting, right? Bitcoin's above it. Total, slightly below it, not a weekly close yet. Total 2.
Wie ich schon im letzten Video gesagt habe, Bitcoin ist immer noch über dem Bull Market Support Band und der komplette Kryptomarkt ist schon drunter.
Which excludes Bitcoin, but includes everything else, right, including ETH, already had a weekly close below it last week. Okay, so Bitcoin, still above. Total, slightly below, no weekly close yet. Total 2, excluding Bitcoin, a weekly close below last week, and now potentially a second week in a row. What do you think Total 3 looks like? Which excludes both blue chips, right, excluding both Bitcoin and Ethereum. What do you think that looks like? Total 2 already had a weekly close. And now we're in week number 2 of potentially putting in another close below it. Total 3, already 2 weekly closes below the 20-week SMA, and now potentially in the 3rd week.
Und je weiter man runtergeht von den Altcoins her, desto schlechter sieht's einfach aus. Hier sieht man nämlich, dass Ethereum und Bitcoin rausgerechnet sind, trotzdem der gesamte Kryptomarkt eben ohne Bitcoin und Ethereum. Und da haben wir schon 3 Schließungen unter dem Bull Market Support Band.
So what does this show you is happening, right? What does this show you? Well, we talked about, right? The altcoin market is highly illiquid, and people are flocking to the relative safety of the blue chips. That sends the dominance of Bitcoin higher. Does it not? Right? Look at this. Bitcoin dominance, it's still well above the bull market support band, right? I mean, you have Bitcoin USD, which is about to test it. The dominance is so far above it, it's got plenty of wiggle room. Plenty. This is still trending high. I mean, look, yeah, locally it's trending down, right? And everyone's losing their collective minds. But the other way you look at it is you say, well, it's kind of maybe holding the support at where it previously kind of held resistance.
Und das, was wir jetzt gerade sehen, ist also die Bitcoin-Dominanz. Das bedeutet einfach, wie viel Prozent ist Bitcoin vom kompletten Kryptomarkt. Also egal, ob der Kryptomarkt nach unten geht, nach oben, Bitcoin nach unten, nach oben vom Preis her, die Bitcoin-Dominanz kann auch steigen, obwohl Bitcoin USD, also wenn Bitcoin jetzt von 26.000 auf 20.000 fällt, aber die Altcoins noch stärker prozentual fallen als Bitcoin, dann geht dieser Chart, also die Bitcoin-Dominanz, nach oben und steigt.
And it still is trending higher. Look at, like, you knew I was going to work in the dominance into this video, right? Look at monthly candles on the dominance. Look at this. Look, you have 2 green and a red, 2 green and a red. And if you do the Heikinashi, I mean, this is a very bullish trend. I mean, these are large candle bodies, overshadows, no undershadows, or if they are, they're very small. So again, right, Bitcoin USD in an uptrend, right, in an uptrend. And recently, it's starting to fade. Now, what I want to do is I want to compare to 2019. Because if you look at these candles, we talked about the idea of a summer lull, right, where the price action sort of fades off. Look at this. We're down, what, 11% this month? Okay, 11%. But Heikinashi, probably worthwhile to look at this phase, right? You had 4 candles up and the 5th candle started to fade, and the candle body was a lower high, right, compared to this one. So
Und jetzt vergleicht er quasi 2019 mit 2023, also geht er genau einen Bitcoin-Zyklus zurück. Der Bitcoin-Zyklus entsteht durch das Halving, also alle 4 Jahre circa. Das ist abhängig davon, wie schnell und wie viel gemeint wird. Also alle 210.000 Blöcke halbiert sich der Reward beim Minen und dadurch entstehen die Zyklen, die circa 4 Jahre dauern.
So, we're in our 5th candle now, right? So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 trended higher. The 5th one faded, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 trended higher. The 5th one faded. And then this is what we talked about. We've talked about this idea of sort of fading for a good portion of the year, just like we did in 2019. Again, could there be another push higher? Maybe, right? But there are some momentum indicators that are starting to be a little bit weak. One of them is, if you take a look at the weekly, so let's look at weekly candles. We've already closed below the 10-week, right? Now you might say, well, Ben, no one cares about the 10-week SMA. And you might be right, but I mean, the reality is in 2019, once we had a weekly close below, that was all she wrote. I mean, the high was in for the year. Once we had a weekly close below the 10-week moving average, after that initial...
Jetzt schaut er sich den 10-Wochen-Durchschnitt vom Bitcoin-Preis an und sagt, 2019 hatten wir eine einzige Candle, die unter diesem Durchschnitt geschlossen hat, und dann war eben der mehr oder weniger Bullrun oder der Short-Term Bullrun eben vorbei. Also damals war der ein bisschen stärker, hier von 3.200 circa auf 11.000, und jetzt sind wir aber auch von 16.000 auf 31.000, und also sagt er, es könnte theoretisch sein, dass wir jetzt eben vorbei sind. Erstmal, dass das Zwischenhigh drin ist.
So 2019 impulse. Once we had weekly close below, I mean, we rallied back up a little bit, put in a lower high. But again, it was in fact just a lower high. So, close below the 10-week. So, how we close below the 10-week here? You can see we avoided it in March. This one opened below the 10-week, but it still closed above it. We're back below the 10-week, right? We're below it. Something to consider. Also,
wir sind aktuell unter dem 10-Wochen-Durchschnitt.
Also to consider is the 100-day, right? Take a look at the 100-day. So in 2019, what happened with the 100-day? Right, we rallied for a while, right? And then once we fell below the 100-day, technically we kind of pushed back above it at some point. It was a lower high, and then we just faded. And I mean, you can see right now that we did have a daily close around it over here, but it's more or less held the line. Right now, we just had a daily close below the 100-day, right? Pretty clearly, too, right? It's not just sort of like right on the line, but a pretty clear close below the 100-day SMA. And so, I mean, there are some momentum indicators that are sort of fading here, okay? So,
hier mache ich kurz einen Cut und beende diesen zweiten Teil, aber wir sehen uns gleich im dritten Teil. Bis gleich. Tschüss.